In a world where absurdity reigned supreme, there existed a peculiar individual named Bartholomew Bimbleton Snodgrass. Bartholomew was a connoisseur of chaos, a maestro of mayhem, and a purveyor of preposterousness. His life was a whirlwind of nonsensical escapades, each more outlandish than the last. One fine day, as Bartholomew was strolling down the street, he stumbled upon a peculiar sight. A group of pigeons were engaged in a heated debate over the finer points of existential philosophy. Bartholomew, being the inquisitive fellow he was, couldn't resist joining in on the conversation. "Excuse me, my feathered friends," he interjected, "but I couldn't help but overhear your discussion. I must say, I find your insights on the nature of existence to be quite stimulating." The pigeons were taken aback by Bartholomew's sudden intrusion. They looked at each other in confusion, unsure of how to respond. After a moment of silence, one of the pigeons cleared its throat and spoke. "Well, if it isn't Bartholomew Bimbleton Snodgrass, the renowned purveyor of preposterousness, what brings you to our humble gathering?" Bartholomew grinned mischievously. "I simply couldn't resist the opportunity to engage in a stimulating conversation with such esteemed intellectuals as yourselves. After all, who better to discuss the meaning of life than a group of pigeons?" The pigeons exchanged amused glances. "Very well, Mr. Snodgrass," said the pigeon who had spoken before. "If you insist on joining our discussion, then we welcome you with open wings." And so Bartholomew joined the pigeons in their debate on the nature of existence. They discussed everything from the meaning of life to the existence of God, to the question of whether or not toast always lands butter side down. As the day wore on, the pigeons found themselves becoming increasingly enamored with Bartholomew's outlandish pronouncements and nonsensical ramblings. They were captivated by his ability to see the world in a way that they never had before. By the end of the day, the pigeons had come to regard Bartholomew as a wise and enlightened individual. They had learned that even the most absurd of ideas can contain a grain of truth. And so, as the sun began to set, Bartholomew bid farewell to his newfound friends, leaving them with a parting thought. "Remember, my feathered friends, the world is a strange and wonderful place. Never stop questioning, never stop exploring.